Hello again. Now, usually on these videos I'm walking about with a selection of my Labradors. However, for this video I need a little bit of calm, so I'm actually dog free, sitting outside just with a coffee. Now, 2026 is shaping up to be the most defining year the private rental sector has seen in decades, but I think not for the reasons that the headlines keep shouting about. So forget the noise, forget the hype. I think the real stuff is happening beneath the surface, and while the press paints a picture of chaos, the truth I think is far more strategic for landlords and far more important for landlords who want to stay ahead rather than just be swept along with the crowd, as it were. So I've been in this game for over 25 years, and here are my 5 considered predictions for the private letting sector in 2026. So first, everywhere you look, the headlines say the same thing. Landlords are leaving the sector in droves and selling up. And yep, some absolutely are. But here's the bit that the headlines don't necessarily say, is that most of these properties being sold aren't actually leaving the rental market at all. That's certainly in my experience. They're actually being sold to other landlords. So it's not so much collapse, it's more like consolidation. It's the casual, accidental landlords that are stepping away, and the professional ones are stepping in. Now, the sector may be shrinking slightly, but it's also getting that bit more sharper. And for the landlords who stay and adapt, it's definitely not bad news, it's simply opportunity. 2. Now, rent growth will still slow down in 2026. It's already started. At the end of the day, it was bound to, wasn't it? They were high. But don't mistake that for things getting easier. The real pressure point for tenants isn't solely rent levels, it's affordability. Now, demand still massively outstrips supply, and tenants are stretched. Now, what that means is tenants will become more selective and they'll want more for their hard-earned money. Totally makes sense. So they won't just look at the price, they'll look at the whole package. Is the home warm? Is it efficient? Are repairs handled correctly, quickly? Is the communication clear? It's the landlords who will succeed. They won't be the ones squeezing out every pound. They'll be the ones keeping good tenants for longer. And stability will beat short-term gains every single time. So 3. The spike in Section 21 notices has been framed as panic, chaos by the media, and even malicious by some people. But, let's be honest, it's completely and utterly predictable. So, for years, landlords were told Section 21 was ending soon, but with little clarity and definitely no time frame. So they just waited. And when the deadline became real on the 27th of October last year, they switched on, knowing that the 1st of May 2026 was the date that they needed to work to before Section 21s are gone forever. So they'll bring forward decisions they've been sitting on, not emotional decisions, but logical ones. They'll choose to exit or reset portfolios before the rules change. This won't be a permanent trend, obviously. It's more like a clearing of a backlog. And by mid-2026, the wave will pass, the market will stabilise under the new system. It will be a little bit chaotic at first, but it's more just maintenance. So 4, interest rates. Interest rates finally easing, and that will absolutely help landlords refinance and steady their cash flows in 2026. But, let's be clear, it won't bring back the good old buy-to-let boom days. This isn't a market for just winging it. Cheaper borrowing won't fix poor property choices or weak management or inefficiencies. What it will do is reward landlords who understand their numbers, landlords who manage risk properly and invest with a long-term view. 2026 won't be about growth at all costs. It'll be about sustainable portfolios that actually perform to the max. So yeah, if there's one thing that will quietly decide who remains in the sector over the next few years, it's energy efficiency. Now, we never used to be asked by tenants to see the EPC. Now it's a pretty much nailed on request. Tenants are far more aware of running costs and cold, and inefficient homes are becoming just harder to justify. They often let slower, they can generate more complaints, and they will push many landlords towards the exit. Now, on the flip side, warm, efficient homes will let faster, retain tenants longer, and perform better financially. So in 2026, EPCs won't just be about future regulation, they'll be about present day tenant demand. And I believe that the landlords who invest here will essentially future-proof themselves. The ones who don't could, seriously feel the pressure. So there you have it. Property investment 2026 in a crystal ball nutshell. So if you're a landlord watching this, I totally understand that every individual situation is different, but you don't have to navigate these changes on your own. If you want clear, straight talking advice about what all this means for your property or your portfolio, please get in touch with our brilliant team at Cope & Co and talk it through properly, talk it through in detail. Contact details are on the way. Thank you for watching.